Okay, let's move a little further in understanding the SeaDAS GUI while viewing some data. Uh, so we're going to open a data file. I'm going to use this same ocean color file we looked at in the previous video. We will look at the chlorophyll band. We know now how to use the scrolling and dragging to pan and zoom on the image. But and we noticed that this GUI element's changed over here. We saw that these are now active as I move around the cursor. What it's also changed are that the managers, the file manager of course has the file contents, but now we have information in the layer manager. It is a place where you can sort of enable and disable layers that have been created. So you notice the chlor A is now a layer. If I uncheck that, the portrayal of the data goes away. Okay. The mask manager is, well, let's go back to the layer manager. The masks here are listed as layers. So I can enable a mask, for example, the land mask here, but I can't do much else with that until I get to the mask manager, where I can now manipulate things like, let's stretch this over. We can change the actual color of the mask if we wanted to. We can click here and choose some other color. Okay. So you actually manage the portrayal of the masks in the mask manager. How logical is that? Whereas the layer manager sort of manages whether a layer is portrayed or not. The color manager is where we change the color palette being used. All right, so let me go view, reset to default, and bring back the color manager. Okay, we can choose from a variety of color palettes here. If we change the color palette, the portrayal of the data changes. We can reverse the color palette. Okay, just flip it. So we're mapping data values from a minimum and maximum to colors from one end to the other of the color palette. And in fact, we can control what those data values, what that range of data values is that are mapped from the bottom to the top, if you will, of the color palette. So I can simply query the data with this button to find the minimum value and the maximum value, and I'm effectively using the entire range of data values across the entire range of the colors in the color palette. Okay. Notice too, I'll stretch this back out. There are other ways to manipulate the color portrayal. There are some sliders for very detailed assignment of value to color, and there's a table view. Each of these has its own set of tools for manipulation, but generally all you're going to really be doing is choosing a predefined color palette of some sort, and perhaps set band from data to maximize the data use of that color palette. Okay. So that's, you know, the managers and what they're really used for when you're dealing with some data. So let's stop there.